The cameras flashed. The fandom watched in horror as the crowd surged forward. In an instant, a routine airport arrival turned into total chaos, leaving a K-pop idol in literal physical danger.
Yeah. I mean, it was just terrifying to watch.
It really was. And, welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. Today, we are riding the Hallyu wave to really unpack this terrifying mobbing of the top K-pop girl group, aespa.
Right, and it's not just about that one incident either.
Exactly. We're getting into the grueling reality of idol comeback schedules and how Korea's major airports are literally being forced to radically change their rules just to stop the madness.
Because it's completely out of control right now.
It is. Okay, let's unpack this, because the footage we've seen from these recent arrivals is genuinely hard to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, we are not looking at a few overly enthusiastic fans holding up signs here.
No, not at all.
We're looking at massive, just uncontrolled crushes of human bodies that are completely overwhelming the airport security.
And endangering everyone in the vicinity, right?
Seriously.
The sheer density of these crowds transforms a shared transit hub into this highly volatile environment. I mean, when you look at the recent incidents involving aespa at both Gimpo and Incheon airports, you see a total breakdown of crowd control.
Yeah, let's talk about July 23rd, for example.
Right. So the group was returning to Gimpo Airport from China after a fan sign and a cafe manager event, and they arrived quite late at night.
Which you'd think would help.
Exactly. Logically, you would assume a late-night arrival means a thinned-out crowd allowing for a safe exit.
But that assumption was completely shattered. As the members made their way toward the exit, they started out with, a semblance of space.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but within seconds, this massive crowd rapidly closed in on them. The visual is harrowing.
It really is.
The group's bodyguards had to physically collapse their perimeter, tightening their circle, just to keep the members upright against this sudden, aggressive surge of moving bodies.
And unfortunately, this wasn't just an isolated late-night fluke.
No. We saw an even more dangerous situation on August 9th and 10th when they were departing from Incheon Airport for a concert in Taipei.
Oh, that was a mess.
They were flying out just 2 days after wrapping up their Seoul concerts. So you have international fans who traveled to Korea waiting at the airport to head home, right?
Yeah, colliding with local fans who showed up just to see the group off.
Exactly. It created a perfect, terrifying storm.
The footage from Incheon is where the physical reality of these mobs becomes undeniable. The crowd was so aggressive that Karina actually had to grab her bandmate Winter's hand.
Oh my gosh.
She was holding on with incredible force just so they wouldn't get ripped apart in the crush.
You can actually see Winter physically recoiling, trying to dodge a letter that someone literally threw at her head.
Threw at her head? I mean, come on.
It's crazy. The members were being jammed and shoved between their own security guards, barely able to walk through the automated doors.
And to really grasp the outrage pouring out from the K-nets and international fandoms over this, we have to talk about the physical context here.
Right, because this wasn't just scary, it was a severe medical hazard. Winter had just undergone emergency surgery for a collapsed lung, a pneumothorax back in April.
Oh, wow, April. That's so recent. For anyone unfamiliar with that procedure, a pneumothorax surgery involves inserting a tube into the chest cavity to remove excess air, right?
Yes, exactly.
And it usually requires up to 2 months of incredibly careful recovery time before the patient can even breathe normally without pain.
Let alone endure high physical stress in an airport mob.
Right. I mean, it's like being trapped in a mosh pit where everyone is holding heavy camera gear instead of dancing.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
It just makes you wonder, where is the line between being a dedicated fan, supporting your bias, and becoming a literal physical threat?
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is the psychological shift that happens in these crowds. It completely overrides that kind of basic human empathy.
Like a mob mentality. Exactly. Individually, most of these fans know about the surgery, and they would never want to harm their favorite idols. But in a mob, a phenomenon called de-individuation takes over.
De-individuation. So personal accountability just goes out the window.
It completely vanishes. The environment becomes this hyper-competitive arena for access. Who can get the closest photo? Who can deliver their letter? Who can get noticed by the artist?
Wow.
And the camera lens actually acts as a psychological barrier. Through the viewfinder, the idol ceases to be a human being recovering from major lung surgery, and, they become a digital prize to be captured.
That desire to capture the prize drives this dangerous physical proximity. When netizens flood social media begging crowds to give the girls space, they are pointing out that this behavior crosses the line from admiration to endangerment.
For sure.
But, this whole circus isn't happening by accident.
No, it's very deliberate.
It's a carefully orchestrated economy. The root cause, the reason these idols are constantly exposed to these airport mobs in the first place, connects directly to the brutally packed, exhausting schedules orchestrated by their agencies.
Because the airport isn't the destination, it's just a symptom of an unrelenting global itinerary.
Right.
When an idol group has a comeback, meaning they are releasing new music and launching a promotional cycle, the schedule is designed to maximize revenue in a very narrow window of time.
It's a volume-based business model.
Totally. Agencies know that the shelf life of a single release's hype is short, so they have to squeeze 6 months worth of touring, merchandise sales, and brand activations into 4 rints.
Let's break down the mechanics of that volume model by looking at aespa's leaked July schedule.
Oh, this was wild.
Yeah, it had netizens on the forum thicko absolutely baffled. It's not just a list of dates. It's literally a masterclass in pushing the human body to its absolute limits.
I was exhausted just reading it.
Right. Okay, so on July 2nd, they depart for Japan. July 3rd is their Japanese debut song release and a live music show.
Uh-huh.
They return to Korea on the 4th, only to fly to Fukuoka on the 6th and perform a concert that exact same day.
That same day.
After concerts in Nagoya and Saitama, interspersed with live broadcasts, Karina flies to New York on July 16th for a personal schedule.
And pay attention to the logistics of what happens next. 2 days later, she boards a grueling 19-hour flight from New York to Singapore, landing just in time to meet the group for a stadium concert on the 20th.
That is insane.
The physiological toll of crossing that many time zones, disrupting your circadian rhythm, and then immediately outputting the cardiovascular equivalent of a marathon on stage, it's staggering.
And the machine just keeps running.
Yeah.
The very next day, July 21st, they do an offline fan signing in Singapore, jump on a plane, and fly to Shanghai.
It never stops.
Over the next 2 days, they do another offline fan sign and a cafe event in China, then fly back to Korea. The 24th and 25th are packed with virtual video call fan signings.
Wait, don't forget the text message.
Oh, right. On July 26th, Karina messages fans at 5 a.m. saying her schedules are finally finished.
At 5 a.m.
Yeah. Only for the group to depart for Osaka at 5 p.m. that same day.
That's 12 hours later.
And they follow that up with 2 massive Osaka concerts on the 27th and 28th. That is 8 concerts, 3 music shows, multiple long-haul flights, and endless fan events in 30 days.
The human body simply cannot hide that kind of exhaustion. Adrenaline and makeup only go so far,
Yeah, and we saw the physical consequences clearly. Karina had to sit out that July 28th Osaka show entirely because her body just gave out.
Exactly. And earlier, on June 2nd, Ningning had to miss the K-Wave concert due to severe exhaustion and dehydration.
Oh, man.
Giselle was recently seen sporting a bruised eye from a fall. When you have exhausted, physically compromised artists navigating chaotic airport environments on a weekly basis, the risk of injury skyrockets.
Yeah, and fans are blasting the agency, SM Entertainment, for this. They're accusing them of treating these young women like industrial machinery just to print money.
It's hard to argue with them when you look at that calendar.
And it highlights a massive cognitive dissonance in the industry. The agencies are creating the hazard by exhausting their artists, and then, to fix the hazard, they deploy massive, aggressive private security teams at the airports.
Right, which creates a whole new problem.
You might think throwing more security at the problem is the answer. But wait until you hear how one celebrity's bodyguards actually ended up in criminal court.
Yeah, this is where the narrative shifts from just a fandom issue to a serious public nuisance problem.
Totally.
To protect idols from these crushing mobs, agencies have essentially militarized their security presence at airports. Private bodyguards are treating public shared transit hubs as if they are private fortresses.
They even have a name for this phenomenon in Korea now. They call it the airport nuisance.
The airport nuisance, wow.
Because it's not just fans getting shoved around anymore. It's everyday people trying to catch a flight to see their family or, go on a business trip.
Which is already stressful enough.
Exactly. If you've ever flown through a massive terminal like Incheon, you know how stressful it is. Now imagine trying to navigate that while being blinded by a private bodyguard's flashlight.
It sounds like a bad movie.
That is exactly what happened in July, involving the security team for the popular actor Byeon Woo-seok.
Right. He was traveling for an Asia fan meeting tour, and his private bodyguards crossed a major legal line.
Yeah, they really did.
They were flashing blinding high-powered lights directly into the eyes of regular passengers inside the Korean Air Lounge.
In a lounge. Were people just trying to relax?
Literally just trying to stop anyone from looking at him. And they physically blockaded boarding gates, and they even started checking the boarding passes of everyday travelers.
Like checking boarding passes?
Yeah, without any legal authorization from the airport or the government.
It was a massive overreach of authority, and the justice system actually stepped in. On October 2nd, an Incheon District Court judge handed down a ruling fining one of the bodyguards and the security company $1 million won each, which is about $720.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the judge, Shin Hung-ho, explicitly stated that shining that blinding light constituted excessive physical force and visual stimulation against people who posed absolutely no threat.
And, the judge also made a highly astute observation during the ruling.
What was that?
He pointed out that if the intent was truly just to prevent excessive filming and protect the actor, the agency had a very simple solution. They could have just kept his flight schedule confidential.
Right.
He could have worn a hat and mask and quietly moved through a less crowded area.
Which brings up a staggering hypocrisy. The court noted that his team publicly revealed his schedule and walked through a location full of fans, almost as if he were holding a fan meeting right there in the terminal.
Yeah, it's all for show.
If agencies are publicly revealing flight schedules to get free marketing and paparazzi shots of sponsored outfits, aren't they basically inviting the mob? You can't invite a frenzy and then punish regular passengers for it.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you are hitting on the exact economic engine driving this entire ecosystem.
The airport fashion.
Exactly. The airport has mutated from a transportation hub into a highly lucrative pop-up flagship store. This is fueled heavily by airport fashion.
Yes.
Luxury brands pay massive sponsorships for these idols to wear their clothes, bags, and jewelry specifically to the airport.
So it's basically a runway.
It is a runway. The agencies intentionally tip off the press, ensuring high-quality photos of the idols walking through the terminal in these sponsored outfits dominate the internet.
And this brings in the home masters, those dedicated fan site operators hauling $10,000 telephoto lenses that look like they belong on the sidelines of the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. You've seen those lenses? They are massive.
They aren't just taking pictures for fun. They are running a shadow economy. They capture ultra-high-definition images of the idols, which they then monetize by selling photo books, unofficial merchandise, or crowdfunding massive billboard ads in subway stations.
The financial incentive to get the perfect shot is immense.
It is, which is why some home masters have even been accused of paying off airline staff to get access to specific flight details.
So we basically have three competing economies operating at the departure gate. The agencies are monetizing the fashion, the home masters are monetizing the photos, and the regular passengers, along with the exhausted idols themselves, are paying the price through sheer physical chaos.
It's just a mess.
It reached a point where, during an incident with the rookie girl group Hearts 2 Hearts at Gimpo, reporters and fans completely blocked access for passengers.
Seriously.
Yeah, there was a viral clip of a frustrated man screaming, "We need to board too,
I don't blame him.
It forces the public to ask, why is a private business venture impeding the functioning of a public utility?
Exactly. Because that clash between extreme fan behavior, agency greed, and overzealous security has finally reached a breaking point, the authorities are stepping in.
Finally.
Yeah, starting October 28th, Incheon International Airport is implementing a major policy change. They're officially going to allow celebrities to use private gates that are normally reserved strictly for flight crews and pilots.
Wow. Now, this is a significant shift, and it's a deeply controversial one.
Because of the privilege aspect.
Yes. Incheon Airport actually considered this exact plan in the past, but they scrapped it because lawmakers heavily criticized it as celebrity privilege. The core argument was egalitarian, like, why should pop stars get a fast track while everyday citizens wait in line?
But the sheer physical danger we've unpacked today, the crushed lungs, the blinding flashlights, the mobs of hundreds of people, it just forced them to backtrack.
They really had no choice.
They can't afford a tragedy on airport property. And they aren't stopping at private doors. The airport announced that airport police will now step in if crowds reach 300 to 500 fans.
Oh, wow.
And if the crowd exceeds 500, they will actively pursue legal action against uncooperative individuals.
It's an escalation of enforcement, certainly. But, some experts argue that private gates and police intervention are purely reactive measures.
Right.
Dr. Kim Tae-hwa, a professor in the Department of Security Service at Yongin University, has been vocal about needing proactive management.
Like what?
He suggests a formal safety management plan where entertainment companies would be legally required to submit detailed security protocols to the airport in advance.
So putting the responsibility back on the agencies.
Exactly. This wouldn't just be about hiring muscle, it would dictate specific routes. For instance, Dr. Kim suggested a strict enforceable rule that fans must stay at least 3 meters away from the celebrity at all times.
Wait, 3 meters? How is a private security guard supposed to enforce an invisible 3-meter bubble in a crowded public terminal without physically shoving people?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a logistical nightmare. If an everyday passenger just happens to be walking to their gate and breaches that 3-meter zone, are they going to be tackled?
Probably.
It seems impossible to manage in a shared space.
It is an incredibly difficult logistical hurdle. But we do have historical proof that enforcing space is possible when the fandom decides to self-regulate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just have to look back at the BTS fandom, the ARMY, in 2018.
Okay, what did they do?
When BTS was arriving at Los Angeles International Airport, fans organized a safety campaign. They physically stood at the airport holding purple ribbon, which is the group's official color, and formed a human barricade.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, they created an orderly, wide path for the band to walk safely to their vehicles. They proved that a massive, passionate fandom can actually organize to protect the artists they love without relying on aggressive private security.
That is a beautiful counterexample to what we are seeing today. Shows the fans themselves hold incredible power to fix this culture. By the way, if you love staying updated on the wildest pop culture stories, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
But going back to those new private gates at Incheon, this raises an important question.
Okay, what is it?
The airport is offering these private, uncrowded back doors. But will the entertainment agencies actually use them?
Ooh, that's a good point. Because if an agency uses the private gate, they successfully protect their artist, but they also instantly kill the airport fashion photo ops.
Exactly.
They lose the free PR, they lose the viral Twitter trends of what Karina or Winter was wearing that day, which keeps their brand sponsors happy.
And that's big money.
So will these profit-driven agencies willingly walk away from that massive revenue stream just for the sake of safety?
That is the pivotal question. And it leaves us with something really complex to think about regarding the future of the Hallyu wave.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's say Incheon and Gimpo airports successfully crack down. Let's say these transit hubs become completely sterile and off-limits for celebrity sightings. The demand for those photos isn't going to just magically disappear.
No, not at all.
It's like trying to stop a flood by just locking the front door. The water, the intense demand from fans, and the financial motivation of the home masters is still there.
The home masters still have fan sites to run, and the international fans still want the daily content.
So will these extreme fans and photographers just find a new, potentially more invasive public space to mob their idols?
Like where?
If they can't get the shot at the airport, are we going to start seeing these massive 500-person crushes happening in hotel lobbies or swarming outside of restaurants while the idols are trying to eat? How is this going to shift the very nature of K-pop fan culture moving forward?
It's a sobering thought, really. By clamping down on the airports, we might just be moving the danger from a heavily surveilled, highly regulated transit hub to a totally unequipped city street.
And think back to that image we started with. The cameras flashing, the crowd surging, a young woman recovering from surgery gripping her bandmate's hand just to stay upright. That isn't glamour, that's a hazard. So what does this all mean? It means the Hallyu wave is going through some growing pains.
Yeah, big ones.
And the industry has to decide what it values more, the safety of its stars or the free publicity of a viral photo.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.